Welcome back to the Top Notch Documentaries YouTube channel. In today's video, I'll be covering the disappearance of Celia Darlene Barnes. Hope you enjoy. Celia Darlene Barnes was last seen by her sister Andrea on September 1st of 2002 whilst they hiked together near to the city of Gold Hill, which is roughly 15 miles from her house in Grants Pass, Oregon. The sisters were spending the day together, enjoying the outdoors while simultaneously scouring the area for aluminium cans. They'd been on similar excursions previously, but this one would result in much confusion and speculation for all involved in the case. Celia and Andrea split up to check for tin cans around midday, with both planning on scouting out different spots, and this is when the mystery began. Andrea eventually returned to her car and waited for her sister to appear. But when she failed to do so, Andrea did a search in the area, despite it getting dark outside. Eventually, she ended up returning home. Andrea was slightly worried, but not initially concerned about Celia, as a similar past pattern of events had played out in April of that same year. In April, Celia had gone missing during a similar day out, and the situation became serious, to the point where local searchers were called on for their assistance. This event had caused friends and family of Celia to freak out, and rightfully so. However, Celia was outraged by the show of searchers, and once found safe close to Lake Selmac, she had voiced her anger to her boyfriend Lloyd about their decision. Andrea and her family remembered Celia's reaction to what she felt like had been an overreaction and an uncalled for search, and because of this, Celia wasn't reported missing for 30 hours following her sister splitting from her on September the 1st. This is a reasonable explanation as to why she wasn't reported missing sooner, and another factor could have been at play here, which I'll get onto in a minute. However, despite friends and family seemingly trying to appease Celia and not have a repeat of last time, vital investigation time was probably lost because of this decision. And this could have easily have had a negative impact on the missing persons investigation. Days later, and Celia's family and friends were now very worried given her missing status. Sure, she had gone before, but this most recent disappearance came just 8 months following some disheartening news. Celia had been diagnosed with lymphoma, a serious cancer diagnosis. Celia was receiving chemo for this, but she wasn't holding her medication on her person on this trip. Her disappearance in April came just 3 months following the cancer news, and perhaps her anger toward the April search came from her volatile emotional state following this painful news. And this might explain why she went missing twice on 2 separate occasions to be alone and to comprehend her cancer diagnosis. It would explain why her friends and family weren't prepared to report her missing sooner, so that they didn't push her away following her angry outburst back in April. Celia was 53 when she went missing and had been a former US Marine. Following her disappearance, some leads did surface, but they didn't seem to lead to any real case breakthroughs. The first lead came a week following Celia's vanishing. A man from the city of Gold Hill found Celia's ski pole that she utilised as a walking cane. Given the lack of real leads, he was investigated for any involvement in the case and undertook a polygraph test. He passed the test and was cleared of any involvement in the case. The second lead involved a red pickup truck that was observed in the area around the time that Celia went missing. The pickup truck had dual rear tyres and must have stood out because of this, alongside it being red. Police were eager to locate the owner of the truck, as it might provide a major lead in the case, but I couldn't find any information to suggest that the owner ever came forward or was tracked down for an interview. The third lead comes from someone in Gold Hill who had spoken to Celia. Celia had told him that she was headed back to her sister's car. The fourth lead involved scent tracking dogs and a dead end. Reports emerged that highlighted Celia as having been spotted near to the valley of the Rogue State Park, which runs parallel to Interstate 5. The scent dogs tracked Celia's movements to an Interstate 5 off-ramp, and that's where the trail went cold. The state park had been described as a convenient central location for travellers driving along the interstate. The park also offers different activities, like the Oregon Vortex House of Mystery, which is at the end of Sardine Creek Road, the same road that Celia was likely walking along. And I'm guessing this is where Andrea parked her car, although I've yet to find any information regarding where she had parked. The sheriff investigating the case at the time believed that Celia walked down this road toward the highway, confused as to where Andrea's car was, because of medication ingested earlier in the day. but he didn't want to go into what may have happened to her. The medication part is tough to verify and is speculation, although eyewitness reports do side with this theory. Celia was 5'2", weighing 110 pounds. This is a weird missing persons case because quite a few people had seen Celia and her movements seem to have been recorded pretty well. Even with 100 search volunteers and a search and rescue unit, Celia was never found. Her sister and other family members fear that she may have been a victim of foul play. They feel as though she may have been abducted. Since my channel is very much Israel Keys focused, I'll mention my thoughts on his potential involvement. Israel did like to commit crimes far from home, but this woman disappeared from southern Oregon, around 30 miles away from the California state border. Nia Bay is over 400 miles away. This doesn't definitely rule Israel out, but it is something to consider. Israel had a 1967 red pickup truck according to the FBI files, although an exact date isn't given for when he had this. Israel had been driving pickup trucks since the time he was around 17 or 18, and so him driving one any time after this date is also believable. This detail was based on the second lead. I'm conflicted on this lead, specifically the dual rear tyres part of the witness description. I'm not sure that I've ever heard of a 1967 pickup truck having dual rear tyres, although you can correct me in the comments section. In conclusion, this case does fit an Israel Keys victim profile, but there's a lack of new updates and details that really prevent him from being tied to it. Celia Darlene Barnes remains missing, but is presumed dead just given the amount of time that she's been gone for. Unless she is found, the case may forever be unsolved and remain open. Hopefully her friends and family are given some new updates in the near future. This has been the missing persons case of Celia Darlene Barnes. As always, thank you for watching.